while this is going on, where we're bringing these girls into our home and we're growing our family, fortunately, the business is growing tremendously and our platform is growing.
That's an understatement.
Yes, it was, I guess, a little bit of a surprise. We did not know it's going to take off that much, but as it grew, we're saying to ourselves, okay, we're creating a lot of joy in the world, but also it feels like we have responsibility to do even more good in the world. And if you look at the demographics of our games, it's a very much family. There's a lot of families in the audience. And then if you look at what our family is now being built around, it's foster care and adoption. And so you combine all those things together and it was like, okay, we have this platform, we have the responsibility, we need to do something good. We have families at our attention. We love foster care and adoption. Let's just bring these things together. And then, of course, my genius husband wakes up in the middle of the night with the name Bananas Foster.
Best name ever for any nonprofit ever.
Yeah. So we're just, after that, I was like, there's nothing better. Like, let's just go all in on this.
Hi, friend. It's Daryn. Welcome to Call Me Friend, powered by Miss Lou's Cabin, an Airbnb property on a remote section of the Georgia coast. This is the podcast where I call a friend and you get one heck of an incredible story. Question for you. Can you think of a time, a single decision, one click, one thing that you did that changed the course of your life forever? I can. And for me, it all started with a pity party on a Sunday night because, come on, when better to have a pity party than on a Sunday night? We'll get to that story in a moment. But first, let's talk about the call today. And whoa. Talk about a story. Only one of the biggest, probably the biggest story in all of sports right now. And of course, that can only be one thing, the Savannah Bananas. Today, I get to call, one of the co-creators and co-owners of the Savannah Bananas. You've probably seen Jesse Cole, one of the co-founders, the yellow top hat, the yellow tuxedo, amazing personality. He's all over the internet as well. But what you probably don't know is Jesse is a co-founder and a co-owner of Savannah Bananas. The other half is his wife, Emily, and she is just as amazing, as is their family. And it's their story or their family, really, that made me want to call Emily, not just the whole Savannah Banana phenomenon. It's what they have done, how they have built their family in a combination of bio, foster, adopted kids. When I learned about the Cole's family and what they're doing with foster care and the different kind of kids that they have, it reminded me of my own family with my husband, Trent. Yep, that family that started with that one click on that night, that Sunday night when I was having that pity party so many years ago, that one click that changed the whole direction of my life. So it's just about time to call Emily. But I also want to tell you today, for the first time on this podcast, I'm going to call one of our daughters and we're going to get the scoop on what she thinks of our perfectly imperfect family. But right now, let's go bananas and call Emily Cole. This episode is powered by Miss Lou's Cabin, an Airbnb property on a remote section of the Georgia coast. Do you ever go to a beautiful resort and you long to know what this place looked like before they paved paradise and put up all those parking lots? Well, here's your chance. Miss Lou's Cabin sits on 7 private acres on a tidal saltwater marsh about 15 minutes south of Savannah, Georgia. It is a place so quiet that you don't even hear road noise. Instead, you're going to hear pink spoonbills, wild dolphins feeding off your private dock. I just saw some this morning. The breeze whistling through the Spanish moss that hangs from countless oak trees all around the property. And then there's this porch overlooking the marsh that is absolutely a perfect place to hang with your family and friends, read a zillion books, catch the sunrise, drink a great cup of coffee, all while you stay in a restored log cabin that has all the comforts and amenities of a beautiful home. Miss Lou's Cabin, check it out in the link below in our show notes, or simply Google Miss Lou's Cabin and you'll find this piece of paradise. Well, hi, friend. Thanks for letting me give you a call.
Yes, so good to talk to you.
How about getting off the rocket ship that is your life for just even a moment, just to sit down?
That would be lovely. Yes.
I mean, really, the most fascinating question that I think I can ask you today is how, with everything you've got going with your 3 littles running around and all the business, did you even have time to sit down and take a call?
Well, the name of the company is Fans First Entertainment. And so truly anytime I can connect with anybody, for me, it's the conversation, it's keeping it personal, and that's the root of who we are. And we never want to forget that. And so anytime we can have a conversation, we try to accept that.
So my husband and I live kind of by Georgia standards, just down the road. We're in McIntosh County. Yeah, we're just in McIntosh County. So we're probably like 50 minutes south of where you are, but like a world away from Savannah, right?
Yeah, I love it. It's pretty close, though.
Not even a stoplight in the entire county down here. But close enough to get up. I have been to at least one Savannah Banana game. So I'm in the fam. I'm in the fandom, and a huge, like most of America, a huge fan.
Oh, well, thank you. We're having a lot of fun and meeting a lot of great people along the way.
The thing that intrigued me the most, even beyond what's happening with the bananas, is your family story and the family that you and Jesse have built. And to understand that, I have a few questions so I kind of back it up, right? So you guys didn't start in Savannah.
Correct.
Were you actually introduced by your boss?
Yes.
You and Jesse?
That is correct. Very good. Yeah. So we both worked in the industry. People think that, he's the main guy and he must have got me sucked into it. But we both worked in baseball from right out of college, actually. And so I was working for a company called Ripken Baseball. I was working for Cal Ripken Jr. at the time. And Jesse was a young go-getter. He was the general manager of the team he was working for in North Carolina. And he wanted to learn from the industry. And so he hosted his own conference at 23 and had a lot of course, as you do, right? As a 23-year-old. So he hosted this conference and had a ton of great leaders from the industry join him. And one of them was my boss from Ripken Baseball. And she heard him speak and she walked outside and called me and said, I just met the guy that you are going to marry.
Stop.
And I'm back at the office, grinding and trying to make something of myself. I was like 24 at the time and just on this path of growing in the industry and making a name for myself and really not interested in settling down or getting married. This is the farthest thing from my mind. And so I was like, yeah, right, whatever. But we did start emailing as one does in 2009. When this was, we just emailed and I did admire him and I loved what he was doing with his team. He was thinking outside the box. He was doing things like hosting grandma beauty pageants and, salute to underwear night and flatulence fun night and like this ridiculous stuff while the rest of us were just hosting like normal fireworks shows. He was doing this crazy stuff. So I did email him and we chatted that way for a few years before we officially, met in person and hit it off and sailed off into the sunset, as they say. But it was a unique meeting for sure.
I love it. He had you at flatulence.
Yeah.
That's when you knew.
That was not it. That's not how he won me over. No.
So where was the actual first date when you finally met in person?
So the first time we really connected and was like, this is something, we were at the minor league baseball promo seminar in Myrtle Beach. And so again, we both show up to this conference and we're there to learn and didn't know that the other one was going to be there because, we're not really using social media yet at this time and we're not like following each other's lives. And so we were working for different teams in different states, but we both just happened to show up at this conference and we had our meet cute as they call it. At that first night, the first happy hour, we walk into the hotel lobby and kind of like lock eyes from across the room. And I was like, I know you, like Jesse. And he was like, Emily. And we've just been talking ever since. I mean, really from that night on, we spent the entire conference just kind of dreaming together and talking about our ambitions and what we wanted to do in the industry and how we wanted to change it and what we wanted for our lives. And really that conference was kind of the foundation of our relationship, but we knew it was something special after that first weekend.
And here we are. We are. So then you marry. I think a lot of stuff kind of, when things really started happening, they started happening fast, right? Because you got married. I think you got pregnant pretty fast. You moved teams.
Yes.
Tell me about that little part of the rocket ship ride.
It was, the dating actually took quite a while because I was not willing to give up who I was to become,
Good for you.
This,
Good for you.
this leader, just be his wife. I didn't see that for myself. And so we dated for a long time. We actually kept our relationship a secret for the first year because I did end up moving and working with him at his team. And I did not want to just be the boss's girl. I wanted to make a name for myself. So we kept our relationship a secret for a year and then dated, publicly for a few years before he proposed at our final game of the season in 2014. We got married in 2015, but what happened fast was we got married and the same week is when we actually launched the Savannah Bananas. So this was all happening simultaneously. We went to Savannah. We were working with this team in North Carolina. We went to Savannah to get the keys to the stadium that we were going to take over. And then we drove back to North Carolina to get married on our baseball field there. And then that season of life was just very busy. And then we go into 2 months later, we completely deplete our accounts. We run out of money because we've invested everything we have into the team. And so then we have to sell our house and then we have to move into this like garage shed. And so from there, life was very wild. Yes.
And then how long after that did you have your first child?
We had Maverick in 2018. Okay. And then when he was 1 year old, we had that conversation that people start to have, like, are we going to grow our family? What's that going to look like? And so that is when really the adoption and foster care thing came into play. I had just
this is where you hook me. So, okay, a young couple gets married and has a baby, and then are we going to have number two? That's all kind of la 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 la. Yeah. But then who brings in the idea, the value, the inspiration of, yes, let's grow, but let's go a different direction? Yeah.
Adoption had always been on my heart, but I didn't know the intricacies of it. I didn't have an up close seat to what it looked like. So for me, it was more this thought of like, I'd like to look at that. And really, it was just, let me research it. Jesse and I are both lifelong learners. We love just reading and listening and watching and just absorbing information. So for me, it was like, let me just learn about adoption. And so I, of course, go down this deep dive. I listen to every single podcast I can find about adoption. And that is what opened the door to me for foster care. So I didn't know anything about foster care. But as I was researching adoption, I find out that there's this whole world of foster care. And so with the idea of adoption, I'm thinking about preparing this book to kind of sell myself and my husband and my family to be chosen by a birth mother for their unborn child.
Pick us. Yeah,
for their unborn child. Yeah. I want them to pick me. Then I hear about foster care and I learn there's already 400,000 children in the country who are born, who are already alive, who need a mother figure. And so since we were not dead set on, hey, we have to grow our family this way, it has to be this many kids, we were open to going the foster care route. In foster care, the goal is always reunification. And if that doesn't work out, then the idea of adoption comes into play. But because I was not saying I have to have a child that's permanently ours, by this year, I wanted them to be 2 years exactly younger than Maverick. We didn't have that mapped out. And so I said, why not? Like, I'm okay being a mother figure for anybody, even if it's just for a little while until they go home. And so that's why foster care worked for us, is because, we were already blessed to have one child. We were good. And I did have more love to give, and we did have more resources to give. And so we were open to having more children, but it was okay for us if it was not going to be permanent. And that's not the case for everybody. And so I totally understand why some people have to go, domestic adoption or private adoption or whatever path they choose. But for us, foster care was an option. And so we started fostering. We got our license in 2020.
Okay, now stop about that, because 2020.
Yeah.
We
Crazy.
know what that is. That's COVID. The world shuts down.
It was complicated. There were a lot of reasons that we should have said no. There was a lot of reasons. We're running an entertainment company at this time. Yeah. So our future is very uncertain. And we have a 1-year-old, and that's just very uncertain. And so there are a lot of reasons that we shouldn't have done it. But we wanted to do it. We wanted to try it out. And that's just who we are, is we dive into things and, we do and then learn, is what we say. And so we said, let's just do it and we'll see what happens. And so we got licensed virtually because everything was remote
That's how
at
it was.
that time.
Mm-hmm.
So we took classes over like 9 months. I think it took us virtually. And we got licensed at the end of the year in 2020. And then we welcomed our first placement in January of 2021. And that ended up being our forever daughter, Kenna, who has been with us for 4 or 5 years now and is officially adopted into our family. So, of course, they say, think about reunification. You know, they're going to go back and this is just for a short time. And then our first placement stays with us forever. It's just life, right? And like when you're planning it out, it's not going to go that way. So, yeah.
And then bam, bam, like that was your intro. And then there was a quick third act.
Yeah. Yeah, we were also not expecting. So we welcomed a baby girl in October of the same year, 2021, after she was born, addicted to a lot of things and was in the NICU recovering in the hospital. And again, it was supposed to just be for the weekend, short term. Hey, she's going to end up going with family. And so we said, sure, you know, we're home for the weekend. We can take care of the baby for the weekend.
What's a weekend? Right. We can do a weekend.
And here she is, 4 years old, adopted in the family, and never left. And so, yeah, we've been blessed with both Kenna and Addison through adoption after fostering them for a number of years. And there have been other placements, you know, that come and go. And we've been respite foster parents for short-term placements. And we've had other kiddos with us, but those are the two that were meant to be in our family forever. So that's what our family looks like currently.
And with the key being currently.
Well, I've learned to never close doors or say, you know, never say never, all those things. I just don't pretend to know what the path is going to look like. So
I want to ask you more about foster care and when you were researching it and your eyes are getting open to this. And these 400,000 kids across America that need this kind of placement. What was it that you like? Was there like a holy moly moment? Like, this is where we have to serve or this is where we have to go. Was it something that really, really touched your heart?
Yeah. So I remember distinctly during this time, I mean, it's COVID, you know, we're all home and not going into the office. So my husband and I were actually getting more reading done than we normally get to do. And I was reading the book, Everything is Figureoutable by Marie Forleo. And something just shifted in me while I was reading that, because again, like I said, all the signs were pointing towards, no, don't do this. Don't take the risk. We have no idea what's going on in the world. You already have a 1-year-old. Your business could be gone soon. We have no idea. But that book just allowed me to say, everything is figureoutable. I don't know what the answer is going to be. I don't know what it's going to look like. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but we will figure it out. Jesse and I were very strong. I knew that. I knew that we had love to give. And to me, that was the foundation. That's all we needed. And so where it should have been a scary decision, I just went into it with a lot of calm and a lot of peace and was like, we'll figure it out. I don't have the map and it's not going to be perfect, but we'll work at it. And if it doesn't work out, then it doesn't work out and we'll go a different direction. Like it wasn't life or death. It wasn't a one-way door. It wasn't something I was going to walk through and could never come back from. And so it just gave me that peace. And I will always be grateful for that book because I think that's really what gave me the nudge to actually step into this scary space that is known as the foster care world.
I get it. Well, if I can, I'd love to tell you a little bit about my family and why I connected.
Right.
So I was single, never married forever. If there was a non-committal man in America, I found him and I dated him. But I always wanted to do the marriage and the kids thing. And I eventually gave up.
Yeah.
I met a single dad who was raising his daughter by himself because his first wife had passed away. And we dated for a couple of years. We got married. I legally adopted her. So that was my sideways into motherhood.
Yeah.
But the year before I met them, on a very pity party I was having a pity party night, and it was a Sunday night because that's when the best pity parties are, right?
Yeah.
And I have the same best friend since the first day of kindergarten. I was like, wow, I'm so lonely, and she'd had enough. And she just sent me this link and she goes, I just think you need to go do this. And it was a link for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. And so I signed up for that. And it was, it's a great program and it's a mentorship program. Well, fast forward. So I did that for a year. Then I meet Trent and his daughter. We get married. Well, that little girl actually came to live with us full time, which is not the idea of the program.
Yeah.
So I went single, never married to married with 2 kids.
Yeah.
And when I look at your family and I see this combo of bio, foster, adopt, it kind of reminds me of our family of, you know, there's a bio kid by him, but I adopted her. And then we have this kid who came from mentorship, and we have black and white and we have all these different colors and different last names. And it's kind of perfectly imperfect.
It's amazing.
It's exactly, I wonder if you feel like this first of all, when I look at my kids, I don't think about biology. I just see kids.
Mm-hmm.
Second of all, I see exactly the kids I was always meant to have.
Yeah.
That we were somehow on our trajectory, the same trajectory to get to each other in a way.
Yeah.
And yet the other part of it too is everybody makes kind of a big deal of, and I bet you and Jesse get this. Oh, you're so great. You're so amazing. But it's both sides. It's kind of like the kid gets lost in there. Like the Ro, our younger one, I call her my lucky charm because I think if I hadn't met her and had started that relationship, I wouldn't have met and been open to my husband and to Kendall. So she brings as much and has given me as much, maybe even more than I will ever give to her.
Yes.
And somehow the parents get a big deal, but the kids don't get as celebrated.
Right. Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking about with that?
Yeah, it's so true. We hear all the time, oh, they're so blessed to have you.
Yes.
And yes, but we're so blessed to have them. I mean, the way that they've changed us for, how we parent and just how we see the world. And I mean, any child or any person who joins your family is going to change you. You know, we're affected so much by our little nucleus and our circle of people. And so when you live with somebody, of course, they're going to change your world. And our girls have done that so much to us and opened up our eyes. And we are the ones that are so blessed because they've joined us. And also they went through so much before us that it is hard to hear. They're so lucky to have you, because I'm like, oh, the luck was so against them for so many years. And no matter how loving of a home they're in now, the world is not supposed to, this beauty came from brokenness, and in the perfect world, this wouldn't have happened for them. And yes, I'm so grateful that they're here now, but it is hard for me when the words like luck and blessed are thrown around, and I just know what they came from, and also just to know how much of a profound effect they've had on our lives. I do want to recognize that and celebrate that because they're the real heroes in the story, not the adults who get the accolades. Yeah. It's really our girls.
When I talk about luck, I talk about me being lucky. And then I call it bittersweet twist lucky, because if my daughter doesn't lose her first mom who died way too young, then I don't become her mom.
Yeah.
With your daughter. And then with our younger, if her bio mom doesn't have some challenges, she doesn't come to live with us full time. So it's all happening in the same space.
Yes.
Good, bad, hard, loss and gain. And I think, people don't always recognize that and need to be corrected. I think people outside of our kind of world. Yeah.
Well, and to be fair, the world it didn't used to be that. It used to be somebody would get married and they had 2.2 kids and they had, the dream was the white picket fence and everybody looked the same as the people in their home. And I am grateful that our society is evolving to the point where people can have different last names and people can look different than the person who's parenting them. And we've certainly come a long way. We certainly have a lot longer to go, but I do feel grateful to live in a time where it is accepted and it is becoming a little bit more known. And that's what we're trying to do, is kind of shout from the rooftops about foster care and adoption, just so that those of us who were not exposed to it when we were younger understand there are people on your street who are living this life right now. They are your neighbors. This is no longer something where it's like on the different side of the railroad tracks. Like, there are people in every community and every school and every street that have a different makeup in their family than the quote unquote normal person. And so, I'm grateful that it's becoming a little bit more well known, but I think that we all have a responsibility to share what our families look like, because the family dynamic is just not what it used to be.
So you have these two families growing. You have your family, you have your Cole family, and then you have your banana family. And then how does the idea come to marry them together, to make a big deal out of foster care, to make Savannah Bananas a platform for foster care?
Yeah. Well, while this is going on, where we're bringing these girls into our home and we're growing our family, fortunately, the business is growing tremendously and our platform is growing.
That's an understatement.
Yes, it was, I guess, a little bit of a surprise. We did not know it's going to take off that much. But as it grew, we're saying to ourselves, okay, we're creating a lot of joy in the world, but also it feels like we have responsibility to do even more good in the world. And if you look at the demographics of our games, it's a very much family. There's a lot of families in the audience. And then if you look at what our family is now being built around, it's foster care and adoption. And so you combine all those things together and it was like, okay, we have this platform, we have the responsibility, we need to do something good. We have families at our attention. We love foster care and adoption. Let's just bring these things together. And so we started brainstorming about it for a while in 2021 and into 2022. And then, of course, my genius husband wakes up in the middle of the night with the name Bananas Foster.
Best name ever for any nonprofit ever.
Yeah. So we're just, after that, I was like, there's nothing better. Like, let's just go all in on this. So it was off to the races at that point. What I will say is that when we were creating Bananas Foster, we were very intentional on who we wanted to be as a nonprofit. And we wanted to make sure that it aligned with who we were as a company. And so if you think about the Savannah Bananas and Banana Ball, we are very much a joy company. We have laughter and smiles and fun and music, and we're celebrating, and everything is loud and fun and good and positive. And so we said, okay, typically nonprofits have to focus on hard things. It's very much a hard space. And there's the fundraising on top of it. And there's the grant writing. And we're always trying to tell people how bad it could be and what are these bad statistics and things like that. And not that that's a bad approach, because a lot of times that's what makes people want to get involved. But we wanted to make sure that with our nonprofit, we aligned with who we were as a company first. And so we said this nonprofit is going to be all about celebrating. And so from the very beginning, rather than just say, these are the hard things in foster care, we said, we're going to go out and find the superheroes who are already doing amazing things in the foster care space. And we're going to celebrate them. And then we're going to celebrate them on a stage so that people can see that and they can recognize that. And then they can want to identify with that and want to get involved with it. And so that's really primarily what we do, is we try to celebrate the foster families and the people who are involved in the foster care world, celebrate them for what they're doing already in this space that's very unknown to a lot of us. And we do it on a big stage, whether it's 5,000 people or 75,000 people live, and however many millions more watching on TV or online. And we just celebrate them and we just thank them for what they're doing in this space. And then that in turn educates and inspires other people to get involved, which comes back to your normal nonprofit work of inspiring people and educating them and getting them involved. But it really starts with that celebration piece.
Absolutely. Which is as wonderful as the Savannah Banana game is and that experience, my very, very, very favorite part is it always in the same part of the game? Is it like the seventh inning stretch?
Third inning.
Third inning. Okay. Third
Daryn,
inning.
I've got a great video of that if you have time. I'd love to share it with our audience.
Can we see it?
As Emily. Yeah, definitely.
Like what happens? Will you watch with me, Emily?
Yeah, of course.
One of these moments. Okay, great.
Tonight, we are celebrating the Reynolds family and the Moore family. Amber and Chris Reynolds became a licensed foster family in 2017. Amber's sister, Ashley, and her husband, Chad, had a front row seat to the impact that they were making in the foster care community. And so they, too, became a licensed foster family in 2019. Together, these families have supported the biological families of the kiddos that they've fostered, and they've supported other foster families in their community. Combined, these families have welcomed 18 children into their families. Fans, please help us celebrate the Reynolds family and the Moore family for all that they do for the foster care community.
I just love this. And then both teams storm the field and the family. And I think it's like a standing ovation every time for this foster family. I mean, talk about the kind of heroes and And it's for the whole family, to get back to our point, what we were talking about before, not just the parents.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's obviously every story is different. So some children can't go on the field or don't want to go on the field.
That's what I wondered.
Yeah,
that's what I wondered
different.
because you can't if their identity needs to be protected.
Sometimes it has to be private.
How do you have like a behind the scenes little celebration that happens for those kids? Or
these families have like the greatest day. We have them come out to the park and they get to hang out with the players and go on the field and do some, special experiences before. And so it just depends on their certain case, and there's, specifics of if we can show the faces and the names and things like that. But of course, some of the times they're adopted. Sometimes the bio family joins us and they kind of bless the fact that the kids can be out there and on screen. And so every situation is different. And that's one of the best things, is that we are trying to paint the picture that anybody can do this and anybody can get involved. And so the families that we show are often very diverse and very different. Sometimes we're showing military families where the mom or the dad are not there with us that day because they're serving overseas. And so, it's just painting that picture of, hey, you can do this if you're in that kind of situation. Sometimes it's single parents. Sometimes the bio mom walks out holding the hand of the foster mom, and it shows people that this doesn't have to be something against each other. They can be together. And so every celebration is different. They're all special and unique in their own way. And that's, one of the most beautiful things about this space, is that it is all so unique and special.
And I will add that with our younger daughter, her mom stayed involved the whole time, to her ability at different times, was more capable of, more available. But it was never about, I replaced her. She used to say, Daryn, you're her mama, I'm her mama, and Trent's her daddy. So let's go.
Yeah.
There was kind of no ego involved in that, which was just absolutely amazing. What about the goal, the huge goal? So to get a Savannah Banana ticket is the hardest, not maybe the hardest ticket, but one of the longest waiting lists in America.
Yeah. So, when thinking about what kind of impact could we have with Bananas Foster, we are entrepreneurs at heart. So my husband and I always come back to the business and what our goals are there. And there is a wait list for that business. There's a wait list to get tickets to come see us. And so that idea is forefront in our mind. And we're talking about this space where there's 400,000 kids waiting for a permanent home. And so our idea is, it's very lofty, but we feel like we have a platform to do it, is why not get to a space where we have a wait list of families who are all signed up and licensed and ready to go, so that when a child comes into care, currently what's happening is the placement worker is calling around. They're frantically trying to find any open bed anywhere. I mean, if your family already has 12 kids, but you have an open bed under the stairs somewhere, chances are the licensing worker is going to accept it. And they're going to say, yep, the kid's going there for the night at least. The idea is, can we get to a place where we have so many people willing to do this, to be foster parents, that we have a plethora of families? And so we actually have a wait list of families who are waiting in the wings. Obviously, best, situation would be we don't need all of them. But if kids come into care, why don't we have this plethora of families waiting so that we can match kids with the right type of family? Right now, truly, like I said, it is often just get them into a house that has a roof and a bed. And we are not placing children in families that are in the same county or in the same school district. So they're now having to change that on top of all the other trauma. They are often across states. They have to drive hours to have visitation with their bio family. Often they're not speaking the same language as the foster family that they get placed with. There are just all of these hurdles that we're throwing on top of kids who are already going through the most traumatic thing in their life. And so the idea is to have a plethora of families so that we can have this list. So when somebody comes into care, we're not just throwing them in a bed somewhere. We're actually matching them with a family who is best suited to support them. Somebody who can focus solely on that child. They're not parenting 10 other kids who are 10 different cases. It's a lot to juggle, all of the medical appointments and the therapies and the court dates and the visitations. It's already a lot to handle. And those of us who are our foster parents often have multiple cases open at the same time and multiple cases going on in your home. So it's just a lot. And so the idea is, how do we match these children with a family who is best suited for them and who could focus truly on them and their well-being?
I mean, it's so audacious to think you could go from 400,000 kids that were waiting to families that were waiting. But is there anything wilder than what's happened to the Savannah Bananas? So, why not? Why not? Right?
Yeah, exactly. We're not gonna limit ourselves. We're just gonna say this is the goal and we're gonna chip away at it. So
just start, right?
Yes,
just
exactly.
Start.
You got it.
Just start and you figure it out.
Yeah.
I love it. So you said earlier that this is the current state of your family. Stay tuned to see who else might join, who sometimes there's people joining that we don't know because they're just there for a bit.
Yeah.
I just love who you are and what you're doing and in the world. And so everyone that I call on this podcast, I have a couple questions that I ask everybody. And one is, who is the friend who changed your life, or who is the friend who the world needs to know about?
I don't want this to be seen as a cop-out answer, but Jesse Cole. I mean, he's my best friend. And, that's a controversial thing. Some people say your husband, your partner shouldn't be your best friend. But man, I just believe that it's okay for it to be the same person. And I mean, we are really good friends at the foundation of our relationship. And I think that helps us stay connected so much. But he has obviously changed my life in so many ways. I've built a family and a career around him. But he has just opened me up to a lot of different things that I don't think I would have gotten into. He's such a dreamer, and he's so energetic, and he's so enthusiastic about everything that he just makes everything more positive, and everything is enjoyable around him. And I'm so grateful for that outlook, because I don't know if I would have lived life like that. And so, we've been together now for 15 years, and I think he's truly changed who I am as a person. And that friendship is at the base of our, relationship. And so I'm always grateful for that.
That former boss must be feeling pretty brilliant.
I hope so. Yeah, it was, she was right. I mean, he's my guy. So.
Did she ever explain what the thing was? I mean, I could see meeting someone like Jesse and going, wow, but what was it that she saw about you guys being a great fit?
Well, it's such a compliment that she saw a lot of the same things in me, and maybe I didn't see them in myself as much, but we wanted the same things. We did not want to just recreate the same old baseball game. We both cared so much about the community and, fundamentally what the game could mean for people, just that connection. We are very much both live entertainment in-person type people. We're not the screen people. We don't love hiding at home. We're both very outgoing and want to be out there with people and creating memories. And so we both wanted that for our communities and for our teams. And so I think she just saw a lot of similarities in the passion that we had for the people and the fans that we served.
Well, if she does nothing else, she was a great matchmaker there.
Yes.
And then on a totally superficial note, what's the one thing that you're recommending to friends right now? And it could be like a show, a book, a beauty product, a recipe. What's the thing like, oh, you got to check this out? Okay.
So I'm a homeschool mom now. I never thought that I would be. But
I mean, there's another one like, wait, you're home on top of everything, you homeschool. Is that because that's the only way to keep up with the circus?
It was
okay. Because otherwise
it was a forced decision.
Yes. Okay.
Never thought that would be me, but we use something called a Yodo. Have you ever heard of a Yodo? YOTO?
I don't know what a Yodo.
No. Okay.
YOTO.
Yeah, okay. Yodo. It's my favorite product. It's a little box, and the kids get little cards that they can put down in it, and they just get to learn. And so it's kind of like a podcast for kids. But there's no screen, so they're not watching it, but they are audibly listening and learning. And my kids will come to me throughout the day and just tell me facts about Asia or dinosaurs or, the planets. Because there's all these different topics and things that they can listen to on their little box. And so because we do travel so much, they work on airplanes and on buses and in cars, they have their little headphones and they listen to their stories or their facts. And it's a great way for them to learn, but there are also music ones and there are books so they can just listen to stories if they want. Our kids all fall asleep to them at night. They're listening to stories. And I think that my kids have learned so much. I think there's so much to say about us listening. I mean, I'm a big podcaster. You're obviously a big podcaster. Yeah. I think just by listening to people, you can learn a lot. And so that is hands down my favorite product right now. It's a Yodo.
A Yodo. Well, that is a great tip. And I'm sure we have some moms, even homeschool moms that are listening in. And then when I did see that you have the 3 littles, well, they're not so little, but to me, mine are grown, so they're little to me, and you're homeschooling and you got this whole thing, I want to offer to you. So my husband and I were on 10 acres down here in McIntosh County. And on the other side is we have this restored log cabin that's on 7 of the acres. And when you need a break from the circus that is your life and you need to unplug, please come down. We're right on a saltwater marsh. You could do a science project.
That's amazing.
We've got the wild dolphins and every bird in Georgia. That's who our neighbors are.
That's amazing. I love that.
There's a tree swing to completely unplug.
That's
the Coles are welcome.
Yeah, we never get to do that, so that sounds dreamy.
Yes. You and the 3 or whoever is there, 3, 10, you and Jesse, just you, whoever, you come on down. We call it Miss Lou's cabin, and so you can come see Miss Lou's cabin and stay. So we'd love to have you.
Thank you.
We would love to have you because I know there's people asking you for stuff all day. But I thought it'd be nice if somebody offered something to you instead of like, can I?
That's very kind.
Well, I so appreciate your time and your story and everything you're putting out there in the world. And just thanks for being you. Keep doing it.
Thank you, friend. Yeah. This is so nice
great to connect.
Thank you.
Thank you, friend.
Too. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that call was absolutely bananas. I enjoyed that so much. I waited a long time to get to talk to Emily Cole. We were supposed to talk a couple of weeks ago and she got some bug, I think, from one of her kids. That'll happen when you're raising the littles. But so glad we made it happen and we got to talk today. And the thing I think I'm going to take away from that is her line about the book that she read, that everything is figureoutable. I don't know if that's the word, but the idea is right there. And I think she's right. You know, it made no sense for her and her husband to have this little kid and be in COVID and sign up to be foster parents, but they figured they could figure it out. And again, that's a parallel with our family. If I think about the family that Trent and I put together, like he's a single dad with a little girl and, I'm going to adopt her and then we're going to bring in this other little girl and this is going to be our family. On paper, it does not sound like a great idea. And it wasn't perfect, but you know what? It was figureoutable. It really was. And it ends up being the greatest gift of my life, that I got to raise these little girls who are now grown up people and have this family. I'm glad we figured it out. So from time to time, once I make one call, it makes me want to call somebody else. And today there's really only one person I really want to call. And that is our youngest daughter, the one who started it all. Let's call Ro.
Hi, Mother. How are you?
Well, hello.
I love the light. It looks so pretty.
Thank you. I know you're my appearance consultant, among many other things. But the reason I wanted to call you is I did this earlier call with the co-founder of Savannah Bananas, which was a very good get for the podcast, Emily Cole, and she was just a delight. And of course, the Savannah Bananas is like the biggest story, right? The thing I was really interested in is the way her family is built with her husband, Jesse Cole. They had a bio son. So they got married, they had a son. Then they signed up for foster care and they took in one foster daughter, ended up adopting her. And then they took in another foster daughter. They said it was just for a weekend placement. And here we are 3 years later and she's still there and they adopted her too. Yeah.
Nice. And how old is the daughter?
I didn't ask. I think the girls are like 7 and 3.
Okay.
I think I could have used you on the call because you would have asked those good questions.
And then she has a bio. But
I just, I was like, that was a family that's built differently than most families. And it made me think of our family that's built differently than.
Of course.
We have this unusual family.
Blueprint for like abnormal families. So yes, of course.
Anyhow, they do this thing at the Savannah Banana Games where in the third inning, they pick a foster family and they make hooray. Like they say, oh, the Smith family, they're so amazing. And they've fostered 20,000 kids and come out and make hooray. And then both teams just is
this every game or just like
every game?
Oh, no,
every game.
Lovely. That's so fun.
Yeah. Okay. Every game they do that. And then they have a nonprofit where they're trying to get more people to sign up to be foster parents or foster families. And it's called Bananas Foster. which
it's adorable.
Yeah.
It's
really do you know what bananas foster is? Because it's an old-fashioned dessert.
I'm not a banana dessert girl, but I've heard of it. So I'm assuming it's a banana dessert, correct?
It is. It is. It's actually, I think you would like it. It's like they take bananas and they slice them in half and they put them in a frying pan and they make them all caramely and then they light them on fire.
Why haven't you made this yet?
I know.
We have caramel, we have fire. Why haven't you made this yet?
What's not to love? Bananas, caramel, and fire. It's great. Yeah. Anyhow, it's a very cute name. Very cute name, Bananas Foster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But one point I made to her, to Emily, was that's all great to make hooray, like for the parents. But one of my pet peeves, I hate when people just make a big deal out of the parents, not out of the kids, because like to say to kids, oh, you're so lucky. Look, you have, Daryn and Trent, or you have your parents, or like, because I think, as you know, and I've told you before, I think I know that you are my lucky charm. And you...
No, that's lovely. No, keep going. Feed my ego. No, keep going. But no, I think it goes hand in hand. I think the parents shape the kids and vice versa, and I think we can attest to that. I think we grow throughout the years together, and it's one of those things, like you said, like, I don't know, it's like a hand-in-hand partnership. So I get it, but yeah.
It's about both. Also, she said that the thing that kind of tipped them over the edge when they were thinking about being foster parents, because on paper, it didn't make sense. Like they had a 1 year.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but when was the first child like got fostered or like adopted or fostered? But like, when that happened?
2020 in the middle of COVID.
Oh, fun. It was a fun time for everyone, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry. Keep going.
No, it's good. So like on paper, it didn't make sense. It's COVID. They have a 1-year-old or a 2-year-old. They, their business, the Savannah Bananas, was doing terrible because it's an entertainment company and there's no entertainment because everything was shut down. So it made no sense to start. Down, it made no sense to start doing this. And she said she read a book, and I might be saying the title wrong, but she said basically the book is called Everything is Figureoutable.
That sounds like a book that you would read or write, either one. But that seems like a book that you would be into. So, okay.
Well, I love that. I love that. Like you can figure it out. Because our own family, if you look at our family, like, it's
so crazy when we mention our family, and just even when I meet like strangers, because I'm a bartender. So whenever I meet like random people.
How do you explain our family? How do you explain our family?
It is so, I can't. That's the problem. I really can't. The best is like to show pictures. So I'm like, okay, you have this, and not to do racing on the podcast, but with the race, I'm like, you're the black child. And then it's like, oh, actually, I do have white parents and I do have black parents and I have this and I have that and I have blah, blah. And it's like such a big thing. And even over Thanksgiving, because my partner was there and he was like, everyone has different personalities. Everyone has their own thing going on and everyone's like so different, but you all come together in like such a weird way. And we're just weird. I don't know how to explain it, but no, I think everyone, we just have all these elements to like our family and we can't describe it, but it's more like you got to see it to like know what's going on, because I've told my partner many years of like how we are. And he's like, whenever he's around us, it's like, it just worked, like he's like, it just all meshes together, but everyone's very different. So I get the idea of her just, bringing in these 2 new kids and like, it's just, they're just there and it just works. I don't know. It just works at some point. So.
It works. I mean, I think it works. I think it's perfectly imperfect or imperfectly perfect. I don't want to say sugarcoat it. It can be messy. There can be tension. It's not perfect. And it's certainly not perfect for everyone.
It's just family though, like everyone could have a bio family of 5, 6 kids, but it's like, it's going to still be messy, so it's family. It's family. I don't know. But yeah. That's really nice.
So when I sometimes do a call, I like to call somebody who I'm thinking of, and you were the top of the list. I have to call Ro.
Well, I mean, you probably, and I haven't seen the interview yet with you and Miss Bananas. But with that being said, like, how do you feel? I mean, you got 2 kids out of nowhere, and, you know, they aren't your bio kids. They're both adopted. I mean, me through love, but everyone's adopted. And so how did you feel about it? You think, do you regret it? Do you regret
At this
it?
point?
Let me know. I'm here. Like, let me know. I'm all ears. Let me know.
I absolutely do not regret it. And I think pretty much from the moment we came together, I knew that you and Kendall were exactly the kids I was meant to have. I will say, not to be like, okay, so Kendall, of course, was through love, but, you know, we matched together. So we kind of have an element of like, we had similar qualities to where we did match together and through this like big agency and things like that. So I think that did like, you know, help and play a part into it. Oh, you and I? Yeah, we were matched. Yeah. I explained to Emily that we originally matched through Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I don't know if I mentioned that we actually eventually got kicked out of Big Brothers.
No, I mean, we kicked out because we were like such great partners, right?
Well,
like,
no, because you came to live with us. You're not allowed to come. Once you came to live with us.
But we were already at the program by then. I think from my understanding, I thought we like, you know, the program had its like limits as far as like, you know, 5 years and then you're done. And after 5 years, we were like,
nope, that's not what did it. That's not what did it.
Oh, you didn't, okay.
Yeah. When they found out you were living with us, they're like, okay, you're out.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Didn't know that. Tea for me. But I didn't know that. So I thought we just like aged out of it. You know, we were like, okay. They were like, you're living with her? Okay. So
no, you can keep going.
Did our own path,
as long as
and we're sorry.
You can keep going as long as you follow the rules, which clearly we're not very good at doing. So
I fully thought we just aged out of it, but I'm glad to know we just like you know, forget the system, and here we are years later. So it worked out. Who were they? But initially we did match on like similar things. I think that's nice. But even without that, it's just like, you know, it's always like nice to like extend your heart out to like, you know, others, which I appreciate you for doing that. You know, you didn't have to do that. You were living life. You know, me, I'm team no kids right now, but that's not good to say. But with that being said, you did open your heart out to having these 2 new kids who weren't your kids. And I think that was always like life-changing for me, at least. Like as a kid, and even if her kids see this later on, it's more like, you know, you have that feeling of like someone who isn't like obligated to do it for you, who is doing it for you. And it's like a nice feeling to have. So thank you for that. I do
You're welcome.
Appreciate that very nicely. Thank you. And you treat me like your own. I mean, I am your own. I think whenever we go out, I'm your daughter, you're my mom. And it's like, I love the feeling of it. So it's really nice. It's really nice. So hopefully she will extend it to her kids. I'm sure she has. You know, I'm sure she loves her kids. Did you let her know the teen years are hell? Because I did recently try to apologize, but those teen years, I was like, oh my gosh, I bet Daryn, she could have just left me in the curb because I was just a mess. But she'll get there, and I'm sure she'll work through it and she'll learn to love it. But yeah.
Well, I think the ink has already dried on their adoption papers, and they haven't hit the teen years. So we will we'll keep that private. Yeah, exactly. We'll keep that private for now. She'll find out what that's going on. Well, you know, you've just opened up all these topics. I know people are going to want to hear about what's this thing about not wanting kids, the teen years. We'll have to share things like, when the white mother took you to the black college to move you in.
Oh my gosh, that was such a culture shock, but
my point is, I'm going to have you on as a main guest, not just as let's call Ro.
We have so many topics we can do. No, we have so many things we can do, and I'm always here for it. We know we always have these like unconventional talks we won't mention now, but unconventional talks, and we can always do that. I'm always here for that. I love to have these things with you because we know that you and I can do it without it being like a offensive ground or whatever. So I'm always here for it. Any questions as far as that? We know that, but you know, white mom in HBCU and black girl with a white mom in the HBCU. So it's always a thing. But yeah,
we got stories. Okay, well, I know you had a long day at work, and I really appreciate it. And we will do a full episode where you are the main guest, the main call?
I look forward to it. I want to be a main guest. You know me. I love myself, and I would love to just like share it, only because like people don't get our story, I think, and they'll get it, and times are changing, of course, but like it's different elements to it, you know. It's just different things that comes with that. Like it's just a lot, and I would love to get into that, and I would love to be a main guest at some point.
All right.
But I appreciate you having me now.
You got it.
I love the yellow for the bananas.
That's what I did it. Yeah.
I think
appreciate that.
I love that.
I appreciate that, my stylist. See you. Okay. All right. Go have a good evening.
I'm sorry for the delay, but
no problem.
All right.
Thank you, Ro. And so there you have it. That's our youngest daughter. That is what started with the pity party on that Sunday night a zillion years ago. I clicked on the link to sign up to be a big sister in the Big Brother, Big Sister program. I was matched with Ro. A year later, I meet Trent and Kendall, and here we are. And yeah, that one decision to click on that link led us to where we are today. I am so lucky and so happy, and can't make this stuff up. You really can't. Would love to know, as I mentioned, what your thing was. What's the one thing that you did, the one decision that changed the course of your life? You can find me. I'm really easy to find. You can on all the socials, or also have a phone number, 912-766-0446. Give me a call or text me and let me know your story. Give me a call. Call me friend. Talk to you soon. You've been listening to Call Me Friend. Executive producers for this show are Kagan and me, Daryn Kagan. Could not do this show without my great team. Produce Your Podcast and Journeys Inc. Production by Abe Fallick, Tammy Gagno, and Rob Paw.
Before you go, Call Me Friend is more than a podcast, it's a community. So head over to callmefriendpodcast.com to join the conversation. Or you can call or send a text to 912-766-0446, and you can leave Daryn a message there, or maybe even share a story of your own. Because when life gets real, you don't have to go it alone. Call a friend. Call this friend.